Hi, welcome to the IHC Craft Room. I'm Mary. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I painted a pumpkin to look like Harry Potter. And I also painted a little pumpkin to look like Hedwig. I'll show you every step that I took so that you can replicate this at home and do this craft with your kids. Grab all your stuff and let's get crafty. This is Mary. Welcome to the IHC Craft Room. For materials, we'll begin with one medium-sized pumpkin, one small little baby pumpkin, and a number of different types of acrylic paint. I've got black, spun gold, white, warm beige, Christmas green, bright yellow, and deep red. For tools, we'll begin with some painter's tape, a jar lid or something small and round to use for Harry Potter's eyes, a cup of water, a wet rag, a paint palette, a marker, a pencil, a large dotting tool, and a variety of paintbrushes. Let's get started by giving these pumpkins a really good wipe down with a wet rag. They're full of dirt and debris, so a good wipe down followed by a good dry off is in order here. We'll start with our friend Harry Potter first. I'm going to go ahead and give this a nice thick coat of warm beige paint to start with Harry Potter's face. Now, let's face it, this pumpkin rind is not going to hold on to this paint very well. So here's a quick tip. If you're going to paint the back of your pumpkin too, make sure you do that part last or you'll live to regret it. Trust me. I'm going to give this a nice thick coat of paint and then let that dry really well. Full disclosure, since I'm making a video on this craft, I made a point of giving the paint several coats to get a vibrant color for your viewing pleasure. Please don't worry if you do just one coat of paint and some of the orange comes peeking through. I mean, come on. It's a pumpkin and it's Halloween. They're orange. Can we get over it, please? Let's just have fun painting Harry Potter, shall we? Now that the beige paint is dry, it's time to draw in Harry's iconic round glasses. This lid is the perfect size, and I'm just eyeballing the distance between each circle so that I have the right gap to draw in the center of his glasses. Again, I'm just eyeballing this because, well, they are eyeballs, okay? Or at least glass frames at this point. We'll paint in his actual eyeballs shortly. Stay tuned. Since we now have a good idea about where the glasses will be, let's start working on Harry's unruly, won't stay down no matter what he does to it hair. I'm going to make sure to draw a large part on his forehead so that we have the perfect backdrop for his lightning bolt scar later. And then I'll just fill in the rest with black paint. Remember, his hair is wild, so go ahead and get messy with it. Now, let's get back to his glasses. The key here is to not get carried away. I drew the circle with a marker, but as I use a paintbrush to paint on the glasses frames, it's really easy to get caught up trying to make it perfect. And that's exactly how you'll end up screwing it up and making those frames way thicker than you intended. So heed my warning and don't take it that seriously. It's just a pumpkin. Okay, now let's paint in his eyeballs. I'm gonna have him looking off to the side because Mary enjoys a little side eye, okay? But you can make his eyes face forward if that fills your heart with joy. But I'm gonna have him giving side eye. Once the white paint has dried really well, let's move on to painting in his green eyes. The green eyes that he got from his mother Lily. It's time to start focusing on Harry's Gryffindor scarf, which is alternating sections of red and gold. This gold paint was super thin, so it took a lot of patience and multiple coats to get it to the color I wanted. Here's hoping your gold paint is thicker than mine. With the exception of the lightning bolt scar, my Harry Potter pumpkin is almost ready. So it's time to start painting the back of the pumpkin now that we aren't at a huge risk of destroying the paint anymore. You really don't have to paint the back if you don't want to, but it kind of felt like leaving him in a hospital gown with the back open and his ass hanging out, and I just couldn't do that to my homie Harry. So I'm gonna paint the back, but you do you, boo. Now that all of the paint is super dry, it's time for the final touch. Harry's lightning bolt scar. You can make it yellow like I am, or even red if you prefer, to make it look more like a scar rather than a lightning bolt. But I want to do a lightning bolt look, so yellow it is. Voila! Harry is all set for Halloween. Now let's get Hedwig ready to party too. Hedwig is a snow white owl, so I'll start by adding a thick layer of white paint to the front of the pumpkin, again leaving the back unpainted for now. Once that's dried really well, I'm going to use a pencil to draw the outline of a widow's peak all the way down to the bottom of the pumpkin. I've mixed a couple of drops of black paint into the white so that I can use this gray paint to go over the pencil outline of our owl. Sometimes I have a steady hand and other times not so much. So take your time, but don't worry about making it perfect and straight. Just have fun. Hedwig's all about a good time, you know? Next, let's work on Hedwig's eyes. I'm using the cap of my toothpick container so that I can keep them equally sized, but you can totally freehand paint some circles. I'm going to start with some bright yellow paint for the glowing outline of Hedwig's eyes. Once that's dried really well, I'm going to add my black circle for her big, black, soulful eyes. Now, I started off by using my dotting tool, but I quickly realized that wasn't going to work, so I switched to a paintbrush. Once we have that done, let's work on adding her pointed black beak by painting an upside down triangle. Excellent. Let's add some gray crisscross marks near the bottom for some accent feathers before we go ahead and paint a thick coat of white paint on the back. We're almost ready for the finishing touches. With the paint nice and dry, first let's go pop a couple of small white dots on each eye to add a little shine. Now let's get our girl's nails did and add some skinny black talons. Yes, that's nice. And for a final touch, let's add some more accent feathers to her back by using the same crisscross of gray paint. And then both Hedwig and Harry will be ready for their pumpkin debut. So tell me, what do you think? It was actually really easy to make these, right? And a lot of fun. If you're making them with your kiddos, I hope you guys had a great time. And if you're just a big Harry Potter fan like me and you just really enjoy doing things like this, I hope you had an even better time. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about candle making or wreath making or dot painting, or maybe you're just a Harry Potter fan like me and you'd like to see some more Harry Potter crafts, check out one of these videos. And come back next week. I'd love to see you again. Don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo!